Hello, I'm Paula Rogovin, co-founder of the Coalition to Ban Unsafe Oil Trains. We're based in Bergen County, New Jersey. The train in this picture is carrying Bakken crude oil on the CSX rail tracks in Bogota, New Jersey. Trains carrying Bakken crude oil come through Bergen County about 30 times a week. With the recent lifting of the ban on the export of unrefined Bakken crude, many more trains are expected. Bakken crude oil is fracked in North Dakota and is then transported by rail, pipeline, and barge to refineries in Linden, New Jersey, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and other coastal communities around the United States. Because of this, we, the people, and the environment are at great risk. Why? Scott Smith, chief scientist at Water Defense, explains that volatile gases in Bakken crude oil are under greater pressure and explode at a lower flash point than other types of crude oil. Scott Smith said that a comparison can be made by shaking a bottle of water representing crude oil, regular crude oil, and a bottle of Coca-Cola representing Bakken crude. When you open the bottle of water, nothing happens. But the cola in the other bottle gushes out ferociously in all directions. If that were Bakken crude from a derailed tank car, the least spark would cause a powerful firebomb. Firefighters cannot extinguish the fire once it has ignited. There have been at least 15 oil train accidents since 2013, many of which resulted in massive explosions and fires. That's why people refer to them as bomb trains. One such derailment in La Magante, Quebec, unleashed an explosion in an inferno that left 47 people dead, destroyed half the downtown area, and polluted the land and water. That's not all. In towns here in Bergen County and elsewhere around the country, trains carrying Bakken crude park and idle for hours or days. This puts people and the environment at an even greater risk. The World Health Organization declared diesel exhaust a carcinogen, yes, cancer-causing. The Physicians for Social Responsibility of Oregon and Washington State found that in addition to cancers, diesel exhaust causes asthma and other lung disorders. They explained that train noises so close to homes can also disrupt sleep patterns. A further concern with Bakken crude is that parked oil trains are easy targets for terrorists or vandals. In light of all this, let's ask, are you in the blast zone? If you go to the website explosivecrudebyrail.org, you'll learn that 25 million people in the United States and Canada live in the blast zone, the area 1/2 mile on either side of the tracks, with trains carrying Bakken crude. You can enter your address to see if you live, work, or go to school in a blast zone. Here in Bergen County, the CSX River Line goes through 11 towns. Homes, schools, businesses, senior centers, and first responder stations are within feet of the tracks. Nearby Jersey City has over 64,000 people living in the blast zone, and Newark has more than 77,000. Yes, this is a very serious problem. Our coalition has been working for more than 1 year to demand an end to the transport of Bakken crude oil. At the same time, we insist that there be very strong regulations and transparency for rail companies. However, we learned that nearly everything about interstate travel is regulated by the federal government. The centuries-long cozy relationship between Congress and the oil and rail industries makes it really difficult to make changes. However, we are not alone. This is a growing movement. It's a tough battle, but we're fighting back. How? We've met with city, county, state, and federal officials or their representatives. We persuaded some towns in Bergen County to pass resolutions to call for a moratorium on oil trains from passing through our county, as well as resolutions to prevent CSX Railroad from parking and idling those trains within our towns. We asked state legislators to introduce bills, and we've circulated a petition calling for the passage of that legislation. At our first demonstration in 2014, we called for safer tank cars. The old Department of Transportation 111 cars were meant for carrying things like corn syrup, not volatile Bakken crude oil. Newer tank cars proved to be no safer. Yet the Federal Railroad Administration is allowing older DOT 111s to be in use for at least 10 more years. That's just not right. The CSX trains carry Bakken crude over a 26-foot-long bridge, which was built nearly 90 years ago over the Oradell Reservoir. This reservoir provides water for 800,000 people in Bergen and Hudson counties. We learned the hard way that railroad companies inspect their own tracks and bridges and report the results to no one. States can request the reports, but otherwise there is no transparency. Only after intense pressure from the coalition, elected officials, and a Freedom of Information Act request from the Record, our county newspaper, did we learn that the deck of the reservoir bridge was substandard. Shortly after, we held a demonstration and later a press conference at the bridge. Finally, the bridge was repaired. This is just one of thousands of substandard rail bridges in the United States. On May 17, 2015, the coalition and nearly 40 co-sponsors held a danger zone march and rally in Teaneck. Along the way, we stopped for rallies at vulnerable sites such as schools, the ambulance corps, and a fire station. We highlighted the dangers and demanded an end to the transport of Bakken crude oil through our communities. On July 6, 2015, we joined over 100 groups in the United States and Canada to mark the second anniversary of the tragedy in La Mégantic, Quebec. So what is the solution to this? Yes, we want stronger and better regulations and transparency of the oil and rail industry. Yes, we want Congress to provide funds for the improvement of track and bridge infrastructure. Yes, we want a ban on the transport of Bakken crude oil by rail, pipeline, and barge. But while we continue to work toward these goals, there is a larger, far more important issue that we must work on at the same time. That issue is climate change. We learned from our local efforts to protect our health and safety that our path to victory also means joining the global effort to end the use of fossil fuels and to have a vast expansion of solar, wind, water power, and other kinds of clean energy. If more and more people join this effort, we will win. We hope you will join us or organize in your own community. This is a good opportunity to begin joining the growing movement toward a clean, renewable, and sustainable energy future. On Saturday, May 14th, 2016, in Albany, New York, there will be a massive demonstration for climate change called Break Free from Fossil Fuel. It will be one of several such demonstrations across the country and around the world with a focus on these same goals. Albany was chosen because it is the hub where Bakken crude comes by rail from North Dakota and is transferred to pipelines and barges, or it continues on by rail through our communities here in the Northeast. Join us. Buses will leave from Teaneck and Wayne, New Jersey, and West Nyack, New York. To get more information or sign up for buses, go to www.albany2016.org. We hope that you will join this important struggle for a clean, green, and safe future.